Welcome to the Rogue Recap. Hot takes, cold facts, and zero respect for the official narrative. Sit back, roll your eyes, and let's recap. Rogue style.
What's up, you guys? Welcome to Sound Bytes number 6. I am Lynda McLaughlin, host of the Rogue Recap. He is Eric Eggers. He is host of the Drill Down. Eric, how are you today?
Well, I'm somewhat amazed and impressed that we made it to the second hand, Lynda. So, you know what I mean? I mean, some people can one-hand it, you polydactyls out there. We see you and we love you. But for most of the rest of the country, second hand, let's go.
You're so random. Okay, so I sent Eric a list of things today, and he said to me that is not one show's worth of material. So we are going to bum rush this show because the whole goal of Rogue Recap and Sound Bytes is to play you stuff and show you stuff that is not getting played or shown anywhere. And today might be the pinnacle of that moment. So this morning in New York City, and I try not to be like focused here on the Northeast, but I have to tell you guys this. There was a car explosion. If you're listening, you're going to hear it. If you're watching, you're going to see it. And it's really scary because it's down in, it's by the Raging Bull in front of the Exchange. And it's super scary, obviously, because 9/11, yada, yada. But you have to see this is happening in New York City this morning. It's out of bounds. So if you're listening, this is a plume of smoke taking over the city streets, rising up into the air. People are running everywhere. Cars are backing up, and the black smoke is filling up just like 9/11. I mean, it's super scary. It's the same area, and you're just like, oh, shit, what is this? Yeah, that sounds good, right? That sounds encouraging. What do you think, Eric?
It is terrifying, and like you said, any explosion in New York City is going to be terror-coded. But 100%. I would say, you know, the first thing I thought of when I see an explosion in front of the Bull on Wall Street is I'll take signs that Mom Donnie's economic policies are no longer just a metaphor for 1,000. You know,
they blew up.
They literally did. In fact, communism is under attack. No, it's bad, and. You know, that I don't know. Did they figure out an explanation for what happened? Is it just some random thing, or do they?
Supposedly, and again, I use that word very strongly, supposedly, and I'm sure we'll get more information later if they ever get to the bottom of it. But they are thinking it might have been one of these charging electric cars. So I don't know if you remember this, but I guess it might be 2 years ago now. There was a huge problem in all of these garages in Lower Manhattan, because these car batteries that are chargeable in these EVs are catching on fire.
They were literally exploding. No, we had the same problem in Florida too. After hurricanes, like they would get flooded, and somehow the flooding caused corrosion, and then it exploded. I think it's actually going to be a theme of today's show, because I know we're going to talk about like the data centers later. But no, it's ironic that when the green energy policies end up literally exploding and causing more pollution than the problem they intended to solve in the first place.
Yes. And I mean, where is John Kerry when you need him? I mean, you know, he is obviously the preeminent voice on all things climate change and catch up. Mr. Kerry, please.
Well, the good news is, while green energy is literally exploding, oil's cheap. So we're good, you know?
You're crazy. So anyways, I will add one more point to that in the land of Mom Donnie, which I unfortunately am subjected to. In the last 2 weeks, I have seen two other things that have never happened in New York City. One was Penn Station was closed because of a fire on the tracks. It shut down all of the trains for Long Island Railroad, New Jersey Transit, and Amtrak. So really hold on to that. Like, this is an epicenter of travel and commuters. During rush hour, I was on a train. We couldn't get into Penn Station. Of course, nobody knows why, because nobody ever knows why. And, you know, the Amtrak announcer comes over a loudspeaker that literally sounds like something out of Charlie Brown. And he says, yeah, we don't know what's happening either. All right. So like, we'll come back like when we got something. All right. All right. Cool. Thanks, bro. You know, like zero information. Get to Penn Station. It's mobbed. I'm like, what is going on? Then I get on the train, the subway. The subway stops moving. They tell everyone to get off the train. We get off the train in Times Square. Then they say, oh, sorry, false alarm. Get back on the train. We get back on the train. And they're like, oh, no. Yeah, sorry. This train is now going to go in a different direction. So you can get back on, but only if you're going in that direction, which is a direction that train doesn't go in. I'm like, this is one morning. This isn't like over a course of days, right? That night coming home, they completely shut down Penn Station. I stood there for 2.5 hours with many, many other people. And then they shuttled everyone to Grand Central, where you had to live within a certain radius to get buses or shuttles home. I, of course, do not live within that radius. I had to get car service. It was a disaster. And then the next day, Long Island Railroad was like, by the way, we're going on strike. I'm like, Mom Donnie, you are crushing it, bro. Like, negotiation skills, keeping stuff up to snuff. It's nice. You don't just have to worry about getting killed on the subway anymore. You might not even get there.
I love that we sort of just glided past so I had car service, like not a big deal.
It was a very big deal. It was $400, bro. It was a really big deal. And the best part is because I got a friend who has a company. I was like, yo, do you have any cars in the area? Because I'm literally in Penn Station for 2.5 hours. He was like, yeah, it's going to cost you though, dude. I'm like, yeah, all right, thanks. Yeah. Can you just hook it up?
The good news is, from what I understand it, despite those numerous and time-consuming challenges from a transportation standpoint, New Yorkers are notoriously patient and understanding when it comes to these things. So I'm sure the crowd was very gentle and subdued.
Oh, my God.
And then Mom Donnie comes on and say, listen, guys, none of this would be happening if Ken Griffin hadn't taken it to Miami, was paying his taxes like he's supposed to be.
Bro, it's kind of like Hochul when she talked about the Long Island Railroad strike. She's like, yeah, it's Trump's fault. I'm like, wait, what? I'm like, okay. Here's
the thing. Like in London, dude, like that stuff happens all the time.
Oh, really?
All the time. Like trains are getting canceled. I mean,
Why?
you have it's just like lots of liberal governance policies, unions, expectations. Oh yeah. So I would just say, get prepared, get real comfortable and get real familiar with your car service guy.
Yeah, man.
You'll be using him more.
I've been driving. It's even more fun. Okay. On to the next crazy thing. So this is a teacher. You might remember this story. This guy decided that his name is David Wilcox, and he put together this project in Cumberland County. It's a high school where he wanted his students to put together charts to describe and display their sexual orientation, their gender, their politics, and sort of make, in Kamala Harris's favorite words, a Venn diagram of the crossover of what they consider their identities. Now, there is no video for this, but I just want to show, for those of you watching, an image of this man, because he's real special. And I think people that are very special should be seen. Yes, this is exactly who I want my child talking to about their sexuality.
Yeah, it's a tough one. It's like if Mr. Belvedere and Jared from Subway had a love child. I think this is what he would look like. And it's odd because, imagine a world where teachers who are a little bit too interested in gender and discussing sexuality with kind of preteens ends up having some proclivities that are not socially acceptable.
100%.
It's an odd thing. It also reminds me, I have a friend who taught for a long time, and in Florida, we've had lots of different educational kind of topics come up, including whether or not to allow teachers to have weapons in the classroom. And my friend, who's a big liberal, but he, has got a great sense of humor. He said, listen, man, because he, taught middle school. He goes, look, either arm me or let me groom them in peace. Okay.
But this guy, literally, it's always the same thing, right? It's like people who use words like, instead of saying pedophile, you say minor attracted persons. I'm like, yeah, no, that's wrong.
No, I think this guy took the escalator past minor attracted person. He's up in the pedophile penthouse. This guy,
100%, bro. Well said. And now look at this. We find out that he was having inappropriate conversations and communications with his students.
And oh, by the way, when this is only going to happen more because, as you know, it's not like teachers are lining up to get hired at these schools. I mean, every school has got an employee shortage. So what happens is they have to lower the threshold of what's acceptable to let in the classroom. And so you're going to start seeing a lot worse behaviors, unfortunately, just because, the screening process is not as robust. So some of these people become self-selecting populations. And they, unfortunately, they're in these spaces, not because they want to be great educators, but because they want access to preteen populations.
Yes. And I have to say, in closing on that story, David Wilcox has submitted his resignation letter, but remains under police investigation. So something to think about, something to think over, pay attention to. I'm like, all right. I really, these are things when people start messing with your kids, which we have a lot of today in today's show. If you want to be weird and you want to draw Venn diagrams of who you like to sleep with, knock yourself out. Do it at your own kitchen table. Hang it up on your fridge even, we got magnets for that. Knock yourself out. Please leave my kids alone. Thank you very much. All right. For those of you who think that being aware of Islam as a takeover religion that wants to invade and not assimilate, I would like you to hear firsthand from this imam as to why that is the accurate way of thinking. Prior to playing, Eric, any footnotes?
This is in London, correct? So yeah. I think this is in London, but I think you will hear, London in many ways is like 20 years ahead of some of the more Islamified cities in the United States. But yes, it's an interesting kind of a window into what might be coming.
100%.
Respected elders, sisters, we have a weight on our shoulders which is very heavy. And that weight on our shoulders is the same weight that the Prophet ﷺ, because this task of changing the world order, it's mine and yours and everyone else around here, the young, the old, and you have been contributing to it. And let me tell you how. The first blow to America, because I want to focus on the US, and the first blow that was dealt to the US was when? It was Afghanistan. It was Afghanistan. They dealt such a blow to the US. Now we can actually step in. Now we can project our leadership. Now we can give the final blow to America. All of us in this room should be rubbing our hands together, because it's the time and opportunity to project Islam as an alternate world order. But we are weak. No, we're nothing. We're not weak.
So, just thinking outside the box, this guy does not seem to be a person that has any interest in working with America. He has one interest, taking over America for his new world Islamic order.
I love the idea. He says we should be rubbing our hands together. Like it's like the visual of steaming, not because they're cold. My biggest question is when they have these like Islamic confabs and they're talking about, death to America and we want to install, this new Islamic order. Do you think they follow the Robert's Rules of Order when it comes to just how to facilitate the floor discussion? It's like, death to America. Excuse me, sir. Mahmoud had the floor, okay? That's a point of order,
Sorry, Salim. Assalamu alaikum. Sorry.
Yeah, and this concludes my time. Thank you.
Allahu Akbar. I mean, I have no sensitivities to this religion at all. And a big part of that is because I'm informed. So people are like, oh, it's Islamophobia. I'm like, no. It's Islam informed. I am informed. You're still living in, I don't know, some sort of rainbow fantasy that everybody's going to get along. You and the Pope, obviously, all think that Islam is a religion of peace. And yet, every single time we look at any nation that thinks that bringing in people who practice this religion faithfully as they see it, right? They take over and they ruin. They knock down churches. They rape the other people that are there because that is the mentality. We have to rape, we have to pillage, we have to control. Conquer. That's it.
So I would love for them to play that clip. They never will do it, but I'm old enough to remember a time when they would host Democrat presidential primary or like debates on like Fox News or even on some conservative news. Imagine them playing that clip for Democrat presidential contenders and allowing them to respond to it, or for like the California gubernatorial contenders and see what they said. I promise you that the reason why Trump exists and the reason why MAGA exists is because like people will at least acknowledge, as you have just done, that perspective is real and that it has support, universally, as opposed to burying your head in the sand, no pun intended, and pretending that is not a real thing. So I do think that to me, the conversation I think is so useful for the country is like allow people on the left to see that, hear that, and respond to it just in whatever honest way they feel comfortable with. I would literally love to hear what they have to say.
Yeah, and the problem is that they won't even entertain that clip. As we're going to see in this next clip, the complete and utter lack of or misinformation. I'm like, guys, go ahead, please.
Well, no, this is great because I've just been through a thing where I've had to do it a couple times now. So I'm already a white Republican male, right? So I don't need more help to feel empowered. But I now know that because I have a certain kind of credit card, if something doesn't go my way, I can call the credit card company up and they will cancel the transaction. It's like a no questions asked kind of thing, right? Mm-hmm. Not only do I get little sandwiches at airports, but I can just cancel transactions. Like, I'm all right. But so it's fun to hear this person think of their like white privilege, even though they keep it in their pocket. They're willing to get it out if and when they need to.
This is a well set up clip. Take a look.
Are you LGBTQ?
Oh, yeah, I'm queer.
Okay. What would happen to you if you walked into Gaza or any place called Palestine?
I don't know.
Being you.
I would assume my white privilege would keep me safe in that aspect. I'm not a...
Your white privilege in Palestine would keep you safe?
Well, yeah, I'm just saying, like, I'm an American, I'm white, they're not going to,
Dude,
it's like the old Amex commercial, being white. It's everywhere you want to be.
But like he's standing there, right? He's got the piercings and he's got signs up. The signs are not clear, but one of them is like, free, stop the war in Iran, right? Meanwhile, the Iranians are begging us to finish it. And then the other one's like trans rights or some nonsense. But it's like, you think for 1 second that, the first question he asks him is, are you queer? And he's like, yeah, I'm queer. Okay. And then he says, okay, well, how do you think that would be for you in any of these countries? And there's some piece of him, as you can see in his face as he speaks, that knows they would hang him from a crane. But he can't say that because it conflicts with his two signs. So he's like, how do I answer this? Oh, I know. I'll go to my white privilege. I'm like, bro, they don't care about your white privilege. They care that last night, Harry and Larry were in your bedroom and they don't like that. So they're going to kill you because that freedom that you have here in America that you're so used to and that you take for granted is going to be stomped through the desert like a camel, you idiot. So in this post, which I have to give the hat tip to Wall Street Apes. I love Wall Street Apes. If you guys aren't following them, please follow. But he points out all of the places where your sexuality, if you're queer, lesbian, whatever the words and acronyms are, who cares, right? It doesn't matter. If you are not a straight person, in Iran, it's actively enforced under the penal code, highest rates of execution for being a gay person and lesbian. Saudi Arabia, death penalty. Yemen, death penalty. Somali, death penalty. Nigeria, death penalty. Uganda, aggravated homosexuality carries the death penalty under the 2023 Anti-Homosexuality Act. I mean, it's a list of the who's who. And this guy's like, no, it's totally fine. I'll just pull out my white privilege card.
Well, he does, and I have it on fairly good authority that one of his favorite things to do with Harry and Larry is the camel stop. As it turns out. So,
dear God, that's amazing. I wish that I thought of it first. It's great. So yeah, it just more confusion, more just frustration with people like this that are outside with their signs. And they don't even know what they're protesting for, against, or how it would be received. So
I would just tell you this, and then we should move on. But at the Government Accountability Institute, we do a white elephant gift exchange every year at Christmas time. I know, and I have just decided that I will absolutely buy a Queers for Palestine T-shirt and have that be my white elephant gift exchange. It will kill. I know it is. No, I know it's going to do so well.
It's like I wish I was kidding, but I'm not. Okay. So if you're following the data center conversation that is taking over the nation, and it was interesting because I saw Bloomberg yesterday was running all these clips of these graduation ceremonies, and they had their honorary speakers. And one of the speakers, and I won't quote the school because I can't remember, but he got up.
Dude, it's been like a bunch of them. Well, like I've seen like multiple college commencement speakers booed off the stage because they're referencing AI and everything. I know.
So this generation that is currently going to go out into the workforce, or at least give it their best old college try, can't get a job because why? People like Mark Zuckerberg are laying them off for their AI bots. This is a real thing. So there's a guy here. I don't even ask me how I found it because I really don't know. I don't know how my algorithm is working, but it's feeding me some interesting stuff. But this guy's name is Clayton Tucker, and he is currently out spreading the word that there is a 2024 rule that says we can stop a data center because projects that are considered of national security, and if they have any products in the making of their, final, version of whatever they're doing that come from China, they're not allowed to do that. Everything has to be made in America. So it actually stopped this one data center from being built. Now, when I tell you this guy is like standing on a stage with a bandstand behind him and a cowboy hat, this is the last thing I thought this guy was going to say.
But he's brilliant and he's right. And it's consistent, by the way. Florida's Lieutenant Governor Jay Collins, he's had bills introduced in legislation that like kind of would prevent Chinese technology from being used in key parts of the infrastructure for exactly that reason, right? Like, I mean, you saw when they went to China, all the press delegation, everybody else, they had to turn over everything. That the Chinese people gave them because they're worried about secret recordings and all that stuff. So, that stuff is also a threat in any piece of software that comes over here. So good for this guy for using at least our awareness of that from a public policy standpoint as a way to stop this data center thing from happening.
100%. Take a listen.
There is a county that stopped a data center because of the 2024 National Defense Authorization Act. The act says that if you build anything related to national security, that it cannot use any components from China. All data centers have components from China. That's how the supply chains work. So they were able to sue them and got them stopped for that reason.
I mean, absolutely genius. I can't fault this guy for 1 second. And he's just... he's actually running for public office. His name is Clayton Fuller. I think I want to make sure I get his name right.
It's Clayton Tucker.
Clayton Tucker, excuse me.
Yeah.
Clayton Tucker. And he's just like up there like, hey guys, just sharing the knowledge, protect your communities. And I will say, as you and I were talking about before, if you're doing any kind of research on AI in these data centers, you are hearing about water shortages, humming, the buzzing.
It's not just like internet research. I mean, I think the good news is here's how like AI hasn't taken over because we are aware of these things. It's so pervasive, Lynda. There's a TV show on NBC called Stumble. It's like a cheerleader. It's like The Office, but for like a cheerleading team and a junior college down in Texas.
I won't ask why you know this, but go ahead.
Because I have children and I'm an active and engaged father, Lynda.
Blame it on the kids.
Anyway, like the plot of one of the episodes is literally like an AI data center wants to come to town or whatever. And they're all like, yeah, it's going to bring jobs. And then, again, this is a network TV show. And then like the next episode, like, okay, actually it sucked up all the water and the power and everything else.
Scary. And I was, a friend of my husband's was just saying the other day that his company has been engaged to help build one of these data centers. This is one of the places where the community voted yes. And it's a wide swath of land in the middle of the country. There are no homes or anything around it. So, okay, fine. And he said that the company told him there is no expense too high to get this done. Just get it done. So for the next however long, the people that are building this data center will have jobs and they'll thrive. And then as soon as they're done with them, you're done. Thank you for playing and move on.
Yeah. So I like that. I know I made fun of you for like casually referencing car service earlier, but when I was reading about Lake Tahoe news, I saw that one of the utilities there is going to stop serving power to the residents in and around that area because it all has to go to the data centers in Nevada. So it's insane. And I do think that, so you got two kind of competing threats, right? There's the Chinese espionage piece of it. And there's also, hey, what are we going to do about this? And eventually we're waiting for the green energy people to be like, hey, the power comes from somewhere. Yeah. You know,
get involved in this, but they're not about that, right? Because they can't make money off of it. And probably half of them are insider trading on it already because they got all their lobbying friends telling them, hey, you should buy in this because it's about to take off, bro. And they're like, all right, I'm in on that.
Meanwhile, Trump's flying Jensen Huang over to China, be like, more AI, let's go.
Bro, I don't even get me started. And then it's like, oh, we're not making your chips. Just kidding, we're making your chips. Oh, did you short that before we told you? I mean, it's a whole other conversation. But my issue right now is the data centers are a little bit scary because President Trump did say, and I think don't quote me on this, but I believe it was January, February when we really started talking about these data centers. And he said, the government is not going to supply you with your build out, with your locations, or any help to get this done. You need to figure it out, get your stuff built, and figure out where you're getting power and water. And I'm like, at the time I was like, oh, I'm glad they're not going to be hurting taxpayers with that. And now I'm like, oh shit, they're hurting taxpayers. They're taking our water and our electric, and they're paying so much that these utility companies are like, well, yeah, sure. Yeah, we'll take your 4 times the rate, fee. That's the problem, right? I don't know. I'm not sure where this ends up or how that all shakes out, but it freaks me out a little bit. And other things that freak me out, more trans killers. How about that segue? You're welcome. Really weird week. We've got these two trans kids, 17 and 18. And I'm not going to say their name because there's been some back and forth about their names and the pictures being used. And I'm sure you've seen that too. But they went into this mosque in California and shot 3 people, killed 3 people, and then suicided each other. Why? Manifesto, GoPro cameras. I could not believe, and I actually think Elon Musk should look into this. I was on X yesterday looking up information on this because that's where I go to first, as you know. And they actually auto rolled the video of him or them or whatever they were shooting the other one. And I was like,
really?
Oh, I mean,
oh my gosh, that's so worse than the Charlie Kirk stuff. That's terrible.
Right. It's like when you see it, like when I saw Charlie Kirk get murdered, I was like, it was so shocking and jarring that it really took hold of me. Obviously, we all know Charlie and he was a friend, but I was like, wait. I'm sorry. Did that just happen on live television? Like we were carrying that and it was just horrible. But this trans murder stuff is getting to a spot where I'm really having a hard time not looking to the parents and the physicians that are administering these SSRIs. Something is really off.
I would say this, like what I saw, let's talk about like how this story got covered. Because,
right.
You know, because I think most people have an awareness that there was a mosque shooting in San Diego.
Yes.
And even if you just saw the headline, but the headline then suggests, or like the commentary next to the headline suggests that it's connected to, you know, Islamophobia or some other level of kind of white, bigoted, kind of anti-Muslim perspective. And then so this particular detail, and again, the fact that they happen to be trans doesn't necessarily mean that they, you know, committed this shooting in a mosque. But that part of the story is at least as relevant as, I mean, there's no evidence that they were Islamophobic, I don't think. I haven't read the manifesto, but it
hasn't been released in its entirety.
But yeah, so there's a lot. The point is like, this is another data point in a different story that is not being discussed in connection to the mosque shooting. I think that the narratives allow people to kind of draw the inference of something that's not necessarily true, which is like, this is another instance of like Islamophobia.
And I think too, you know, and Alec Lace, who,
and by the way, I'm sorry, Lynda, but just like to the scenario we talked about earlier, I would bet you like real money that in that scenario where we said, hey, here's this clip of these imams in London talking about wanting to impose a new world order. Like, what do you think, elected Democrats? They would reference this shooting at this mosque as reasons why we need to protect and stand up, you know, look out for and fight against Islamophobia. In addition to everything else, right? This would get referenced before anything else.
And to exactly that point, when it happened yesterday, I went, oh man, what are the Democrats going to do? We got their 2 favorite groups. We got the trannies. We got the Muslims. Who are you going to side with? That's going to get weird for you. You know, who's the victim here? And obviously this particular mosque has some people that liked 9/11, you know, praised the people that, you know, committed the crimes on 9/11, had other strange anti-American type posts and such on social media. So it's not like one of these, like, you know, we're just a mosque, we're doing our thing, we're not bothering anybody. This is definitely a politically engaged mosque with a history of making comments against America. So there's that part too. Not to mention the fact that you have these 2 kids, 17 and 18 years old. And this video, if you can see it on the screen, obviously I'm not playing it, but this was the video where he literally is loading the gun, turns and shoots the other assailant. And I'm like, oh God, you know, like I'm trying to figure out, and I always feel this way, when you are about to kill people who aren't bothering you, you don't have anything to do with you, yada, yada, yada. And these people obviously had an agenda. They were anti-Trump. They wanted to kill Trump. They wanted to kill Vance. They hated America. They felt oppressed, blah, 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 because they had been poisoned with this bullshit for I don't know how many years, right? It's like their entire indoctrination of education.
No, you know, you've seen the stories about how like tech leaders, they allow their children to have incredibly limited screen time.
Yes.
And I would just say, like, to me, like the big takeaway is, think about what just happened. Those are 2 teenagers, like 17-year-olds who live in San Diego, California. Bro, you're sitting on a winning lottery ticket. Like you should have no problems. But if you should be able to go to the beach and hang out and go to the zoo and just like enjoy,
live your
live
life
in one of the nicest places in the world.
Yep.
but because people then voluntarily choose to spend their time online,
yes,
in these kind of like artificial environments,
and
at the expense of engagement. It's so bad. I still think we have yet to fully reconcile the negative impact that the access we have given our children to spaces and places that do things to their brain that other substances do to the brain. You have to be, or illegal, right? Like, hey, you're a parent, I'm a parent, like I can give my kids on a tablet, but it would be illegal if I gave my kids a scotch every day.
Yeah.
And I think that
the same poison. I agree with you. It is a poison. And they talk about these kids. And if you're not watching right now, we're showing a screenshot that has all of these trans shooters, and they've all done these mass shootings. And each of them is like binary, gender fluid, trans, confused, I mean, one guy who looks like his name's just Larry. I'm not sure. But, my point in this is we have a situation where these parents have let it go too far. And when you let your child sit on these electronics and these social media platforms or YouTube or whatever, they are going to end up in wormholes of shit that you have no control over. And this doctor the other day put this thing out, and I think we'll do it next week. But she was so interesting. She's been studying kids' brains, and she talks about the white matter in the brain and how there's so much because they're not using their brains. They're just being fed information. And how when they take a pencil or a pen and they write on a piece of paper, the synapses in the brain, they fire off. She goes, it looks like little fireflies. It's incredible how the brain works. And I was like, wow, that's amazing. Because I'm very strict with my kids about everything when it comes to social media. We've removed YouTube from the house. My youngest son doesn't have a phone. He has like a bark phone that only he can talk to me and dad on, stupid stuff, right? Like you're really hunkering down. But I just pulled him from public school because I can't believe what they're learning. I can't believe the amount of time that they're on their computers. I can look at his search history and see everything he's done during school. And I'm like, why are you looking at this? Don't they see this?
No, it's because the teachers are checked out. And I'm sorry that you don't have YouTube anymore, but if I was allowing my kids to have YouTube, what I would have them watch is a reality show of you being in a public school PTO meeting. Like, that would be, I think that's a sub-optimized opportunity. I'm very sad you have chosen to exit the market.
I'll tell you, my husband and I, we really, and actually part of the reason why is because of the stuff on YouTube about Charlie Kirk. And I am so frightened of how desensitized these kids are. I mean, I'm like, you're looking at that guy get murdered and you don't care. It's like those Luigi Mangione, the Mangionistas. I'm sure you saw them the other day. It's not a part of our story today, but just very quickly, these are women standing outside of a New York courthouse saying, we support him. He killed this awful CEO, and screw his kids and screw his wife and screw his mom. They're better off without him. Enjoy your blood money. I have no words for that. Satan has entered you. This is spiritual warfare. And I'm not getting in, like, I'm not about that. That's next level sick.
No, it's just what happens when, my son, when he first started like kind of reading a lot of books, right? Like, and he started to his behavior started changing. And I just told him, I was like, look, man, like I love that you love to read, but if you spend more time in the fake world than you do in the real world, and that impacts your ability to function at a high level in the real world, then we're going to start spending less time in the fake world.
Yeah.
And, I think that just speaks to, there's all these studies of desensitized. You're much more likely to say something on a keyboard. You'll send a text or an email. There's something you wouldn't say somebody in person because you don't have to be confronted with like the feedback of their reaction and how that makes you feel emotionally and all those things. We're so detached from the normal, what used to be the social contract of a regular interaction and the consequences. And now we're sort of multiple generations removed from it. And I think that's how you see something like this. Not that there's always been some version of this, right? Like Charlie Manson had his people, like Ted Bundy had crazy women. Look, crazy women have loved men that built this country. Okay. So I'm not here to go anti-crazy woman, but
as a woman, I will tell you, I'm sick of dumb women. I'm sick of dumb white liberal women getting out there and acting like they have a say. I'm sick of women coming out and saying that they're oppressed, that they're not treated fairly. I'm sick of these gym rats that go in and film TikToks and then go, why are you looking at me? Nobody's looking at you, bro. Nobody. Stop. Like, I'm sick of all of it. And I do think a lot of that is that social media stuff. If you're not saying something because you really care, you know, and there's a couple of things we're going to get to in the next couple of minutes that we really care about, then you're not adding anything constructive, right? Like, if you're not going to help, don't hurt. And unfortunately, that mantra is not shared enough, in my opinion. But hey, who the hell am I, right? Okay, let's look at one other thing in this same topic. This is, a friend of mine told me about this and I didn't think it was real, and it is. I used to watch, tell me if you did, Peppa Pig with my youngest. And I love Peppa Pig. I thought it was super cute cartoon. Please.
I did not watch Peppa Pig, but only because when it comes to entertainment for my children, we're Muslim, which means no pork, you know? So we're big on the Wiggles and big on like PJ Masks, but the Peppa Pig, bro, we just were never there.
We were big fans of Paw Patrol, but I got to say, I could not get into the Wiggles. Those people drive me nuts. I'm like, I'm out. No.
I mean, I was so invested in the Wiggles. I even knew about like the little drama between the different colors, a couple of them dated and stuff. I know.
Oh, I can't. But this is an episode of Peppa Pig. So you figure the age range for Peppa Pig is somewhere between like 3 and 6. I would say 6 is really getting up there.
And college age stoners, but sure, yeah.
Isn't that South Park? But anyways, so this is an episode where they're introducing this new character, and she has 2 mummies. Take a listen.
Mm-hmm. I'm Penny Polar Bear. I live with my mummy and my other mummy. One mummy is a doctor, and one mummy cooks spaghetti. I love spaghetti. Lovely, Penny.
Why do we have to have this conversation? I don't understand. I'm not asking you about your sexuality or your life. If and when a situation arises that, and it has for me, my son in 2nd grade had a classmate that had 2 mummies. And he's like, why does she have 2 mummies? And I was like, I'm not sure. He said, well, she said that her mummies are married. I said, well, 2 women and 2 men can get married in the United States. Now, I personally do not have a problem with people being gay. I have a lot of gay friends, gay family members, so on and so forth. What I have a problem with is bringing it into the classroom. Why? Or into cartoons. Why is this? Why? I don't understand.
Yeah, the argument for it is representation matters, right? And so you have like kids, like you just mentioned, that they're watching show, and so it's nice for them to see their families, portrayed on screen. But to the point, there's also families who are trying to keep from having those conversations with their children. And you'd like to think, look, parenting small kids is so hard.
It is.
And you'd like to think you can kind of like have, you put your kid in front of the TV for 15 minutes because you're trying to take a shower or clean or something, and then next thing you know, it kind of brings up something else. To me, what's funny about it is like why I think this is problematic is not not just because you're kind of portraying what some people consider to be a non-traditional family, but it's still gender coded. Notice, right? Like it's clear. Like there's the one who works, and there's the one who stays home to make the spaghetti.
Yeah, I'm like, is that all she does? Really? Why are you defaming her? Maybe she does other things during the day.
I know, right?
But it's just again, there's just no need. They're 3. Yeah. They don't know 2 mommies. They don't know 2 daddies. They don't know mommy and daddy. They just know I'm safe here. And you can just go about doing the regular show. Show them at the playground. Show them playing a game. Show them playing baseball. That's what kids want to see. Kids don't give a rip about the marriage and who's a doctor and who's not. Keep it moving. Like it's enough already. Okay. In other things that are enough, did you know that it is not illegal to be nude in front of a 2-year-old in Oregon?
Dude, I saw, so this is wild to me. I saw this clip, and what's funny is, and you'll see that this guy who's got a child who was exposed to a naked person in Oregon, which I think of all the states to be exposed to a naked person, Oregon's like bottom 10. Like 100%. You don't, there's all kinds of weird stuff happening there.
Not a lot of hygiene.
But my favorite part about this clip is the cop who's like, look, bro, I'm a cop in Oregon. What do you think my life is like? Okay.
100%.
And then his
face says it all.
He's having to kind of go bend over backwards to explain. He understands. He's not disagreeing with the parent, but he also is paid by the people who make the laws, which he has to then explain. So
here it is.
In the state of Oregon, someone can walk up to your 2-year-old kid completely bare naked, and that's not a crime? Even if it's on your property?
Correct. Well, so it's trespassing, but what I'm saying is there's no laws against the actual nudity portion of it.
So you can expose yourself to children in Oregon.
Again, if you're not doing it for sexual gratification or the gratification of somebody else, yes, you are allowed to walk around in public naked.
On private property, this is where I live, and someone just came and exposed themselves to my 2-year-old boy. And this officer's saying that it's not a crime. So a naked person came up onto my property here, approached my 2-year-old kid, completely naked, which I ran over to him and covered his eyes so he wouldn't see. My obvious thought is to call 911 as someone's indecently exposing themselves to my child on my property. At what point did this become a normal and acceptable thing to do? The cops will literally do nothing about it. They're basically saying we have to wait for that person to do something more serious to your kid before we can intervene.
How insane is that? I actually had to grok that and make sure it wasn't fake because it seemed so insane to me. And there is a law that says this, that it's not a crime to be nude. And then when he says, well, it's not a crime to be nude because unless you're getting off on it, like, it's cool. I'm like,
which, think about that, by the way. Like,
yes.
like whose job is it to be that detective?
Yes.
Right? Like the gratification investigation.
How do we determine that? Well, I don't know.
Like that's why that cop. By the way, that's why that cop is so exasperated. Like, look, bro,
no,
I just got done.
Look, bright blue gloves, bro.
he's like, look, man. He's like, this is my third horn dog naked man investigation of this week. Okay, this guy's just lazy. But the other two, those were real pervs.
But can you imagine? Like, this is the stuff that I don't understand. This guy's on his property, on his house, looks like a quiet little neighborhood. 2-year-old in the grass, letting him play for a minute. Oh, by the way, here comes Hunky Dory down the street with all of his family jewels. He'd like to exercise his freedom of nudity. What the hell's going on? I'll tell you what, you're lucky that's not my front lawn. I would have beat the shit out of him with a bat. You ain't walking nowhere, brother.
Which, here's the irony. Like, if you had beat his ass with your bat, he would have been arrested. If you had been beating him when you were naked, you're totally fine. You know, it's like, listen, she's just like kind of doing her thing.
Yeah, she was naked, and it got weird. Dude, sorry.
Oregon's wild. I do Perry Atkinson's show on the Dove. Shout out to my guy Perry every once in a while, nice. and he's in Oregon, and so we'll always end up talking about like how crazy Oregon is. They changed the law, so it is now legal to pump your own gas, but it used to not be. Because you had to use like one of their full service attendants or whatever it is. So Oregon's got a whole bunch of crazy laws, but I was today years old when I learned that public nudity was okay.
I was today years old. Okay, we have time for a couple more clips. I want to play Brandon Gill. I know I've talked about him before. I love him. This guy is a star. He's got 2 young kids. He's probably in his 30s. You know, like he gets it, right? He's like in our generation of people, like married, kids, trying to raise your kids, trying to just live life, pay your mortgage. And you're like, I'm sorry, why am I in the land of crazy misfits? So this is him during some congressional testimony where some moron has to sit there and explain to him why you need tampons in the boys' bathroom, right? Okay. So this is an exchange that he's having with one of the witnesses. He's so great the way that he sets this up. I love it.
I can't even say this without laughing. Adapting an LGB plus inclusive teen pregnancy prevention program for transgender boys. I can't even say this without laughing. Do you think that is a useful form of our tax spend?
I'm not familiar with that grant, but I think bench research, government investment in scientific and pharmaceutical
teen pregnancy
research.
For transgender boys. Do you think that is a useful spend of our tax dollars?
I think government investment in all kinds of scientific research is of the utmost importance.
Including pregnancy prevention for transgender boys. Okay.
Classic. He really can't stop laughing. And she looks like the perfect person to.
Dude, that poor woman. You know what I mean? She's probably there to defend like real stuff, you know, like hey, which I don't know, like the flu or like real like public health related things.
I really think it's science. Shut up about the science. You're
well, I know, but because she can't, right? She's to your point, like she's trapped. You can't like with the whole the Muslim and the trans thing earlier. Like if you're like a public health person, then you're pro government funding stuff. So you can't be like can't come out on the wrong side of something that the people who are writing your checks support. That's Brandon Gill is very good. And
he is very good. Okay, we've got 2 fun clips to end the show today. I will let you pick which one you would like first. We have Chinese Trump or the dancing accordion dog.
Dude, we gotta go Chinese Trump next.
Copy. This now, guys, just full disclosure, okay? I thought this was fake. This is how good this guy is. He started doing this when Trump was in Beijing last week when he met with Xi Jinping. And I saw him and I was like, bro, he is the best Trump impersonator I've ever seen in my life. And I've seen a lot of them.
Nowadays, everybody's talking about old money. And today I'm going to show you what real old money looks like in China. I'm in Guangzhou. Look at this place. The Chang clan ancestral home. Over 100 years ago, all the 10 families in the Qing dynasty, they come together to build this thing. Look how big this is. This is a huge project. It's tremendous. And they hired the best craftsmen, the best of the best. And when you look at the roof, look at that. Every single sculpture tells a different story. So you guys are
I mean, honestly, right? He is phenomenal. And he's obviously, a Chinese guy from China and started doing this when, the entire entourage arrived last week. And I saw his first one. Did you see it? He was it was right by where the brigade of cars of American cars were. And he's like, I'm here, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh my God, this guy is like the worst AI. And I'm like, holy shit, that's him. That's not AI.
He's amazing. He's elite. But here's the irony, right? Like he can, like that video he did, which if you're watching, you saw what came out on TikTok. He cannot do one of President Xi.
No, he cannot.
Right? I mean, that's like the irony
First of all,
like,
what would you say? You grunt a little bit, grunt, wave, grunt. There's really not.
I'm just saying, like, there's a really interesting article about what like comedy is like in China, in the post kind of Xi era and during COVID and everything else. It's just interesting. It's fun to watch, but like it's just like you're not allowed to take stuff back from China. In China, you're not allowed to make fun of the president.
Yes. Full disclosure. Hi Gigi. We got no beef with you, bro. Should I do accordion dog or should I leave it? What do you think?
It's up to you.
All right.
We got.
This is 10 seconds. If you're watching, this is an elderly woman on an accordion playing Tiny Bubble. The hair please watch our video podcast because you should see that. It will make you happy. It makes me happy. And
it absolutely makes me think. After all the terrible and dark stories that we had talked about today, first off, like there's 3 of the best things in the world. Number 1 is a dog that's dancing. Like it's just a happy dog just moving around.
Scratching
Number 2, it's bubbles. Like bubbles make no one mad, right? Bubbles are, the most inoffensive, joy-inspiring thing.
One of life's
and then
small pleasures.
Yeah, and then number 3, bro, shout out to the accordion. You know, I'm finally glad that on the Second Hands episode, we got to get to accordion land, because I do believe accordion is one of the more underrepresented musical instruments in pop culture and media today. So good on you and good on us for giving it its due day in the sun. America is now a better place.
On that happy note, thank you for watching. This is Eric Eggers. I am Lynda McLaughlin. Rogue Recap, Sound Bytes number 6. We'll see you next week.